Welcome to the How to Play video for Snack Time from Backfire Games. We're going to go ahead and go through the rules and setup really quick so that you can get playing fast. First of all, let's start with what each of the items is called. You have your pipe dice, your location dice, your creature dice, and then you also, if you are playing with the Baby Monsters expansion, then you will have Baby Monster chits. We also have our location dice, our location cards, our trap cards, and our pedestrian cards. You will also have and will want this reference card for the baby monsters rules and the explanations of the abilities that each of the baby monsters grants upon saving them. You'll also, of course, have the snack time score pad. So let's go ahead and get to setup. First thing you'll want to do is set up the location cards numbered 1 through 5 so that all players can see. These are the 5 locations that the pedestrians will walk past and the locations at which your creatures will be able to grab a quick bite as the pedestrians pass. So go ahead and shuffle the pedestrian cards together. Note, do not shuffle the trap cards in with the pedestrians at this time. And you're going to deal 1 above each of the locations of your city. Then once you've dealt 1 pedestrian or a baby monster if you're playing with the expansion, once you've gotten 1 of each of those, take the trap cards, cut them into the deck, and then go ahead and give it 1 good shuffle, or more if you're feeling so inclined. Once you've finished shuffling those cards, go ahead and place them as the pedestrian deck next to the leftmost pedestrian along the street. Now throughout the game, the pedestrians are going to move along the street and you'll have opportunities at different intervals to take a bite out of each of them. Make sure each player has a copy of the score sheet and a writing utensil handy. Now you'll notice on the beginning map, there are no locations representing locations 1 through 5. There is an advanced mode where you can roll the location dice to determine the placement of each of the sewer entrances for all of the players, or for this example, we are just going to use the initial setup in the rule book. Now you'll want to keep in mind that each of your sewer entrances are considered a 4-way juncture of sewer pipes. So go ahead and, if it's helpful, draw in all of the little pipes leading to and from your sewer entrances on all 4 sides. All right, with this setup, you are ready to get going. Let's dive in. Really quick, before we get into the gameplay, let's go over the score sheet, the different pieces of it, and some terminology involved. So these are called snack spots. This is where you'll write the number of the pedestrian that you were able to snack on. These will equate to straight up victory points at the end of the game. Over here are trait spaces. On the trait spaces, you are going to draw in the different traits that are rolled. There are teeth, eyes, or tentacles, so that you can grow your monster into a snacking machine. Down here are spaces that will assist with scoring when that time comes. Down here, these are the badge icons. These badges represent animal control or the authorities that are coming to apprehend your creatures as they snack on individuals. And then we also will have, down at the very bottom, a final scoring help. In the center, you can see the map of your sewer, and each of these are considered a sewer space. There are some special ones that you drew in already that represent the entrances to the sewer. The game is played through several rounds, and there are several steps in each of those rounds that we'll go over. It is important to note that the game will end when any player has filled up their last badge icon, which will signify the last round, or when any player has completely filled all of the snack spaces on their score sheet. So let's go ahead and look at step 1, which we will skip on the first round of the game, but I'll go ahead and go through here. At the beginning of each round, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to move all of the pedestrians down the line and introduce a new one. Now, any pedestrian that is off the street will be placed face down, which is important because this symbol is still going to be active in play. Let's go ahead and undo that because we're looking at the first round here, in which we'll skip this step. So at the beginning of each round, you're going to roll all of the dice. Now, we are going to be playing with the Rat Snacks module so that you can see it, but if you are not playing with the Rat Snacks module, then these 2 dice will not be used. Otherwise, you're going to take the remaining dice and you're going to roll them. Now, all of these dice will be used by all of the players. I'll place them down here so that we can see them. Consist of the pipe dice as well as the trait dice. Now, each player is going to decide where and how they want to add these to their sheet. Now, there are only a few rules when dealing with dice placement. The pipe dice may be flipped, mirrored, rotated in any way. You're mostly looking at an elbow joint, a T-shape, or a straight. And those can be placed anywhere on the map as long as they are connected to an existing pipe. So for the first round, the only existing places you have are these entrances that go to your monsters or to your creatures, or from or to one of these sewer entrances. So let's go ahead and fill those in and we'll be right back. Now, as you can see, I've added my trait, my eye, and my tooth both to this monster. They could be separated across different monsters. You can also have a monster that is full of teeth or full of eyes. It really doesn't matter there. There are no rules surrounding that. And then I've drawn in my pipes. They're a little bit messy, I apologize, so that you can see. So that is the end of a round. Well, not quite. We have a couple other steps to check for first. Next, we're going to check to see if there are any snacks that need to be eaten. So how we'll check that is basically we'll look at each of the creatures that are connected to a sewer entrance. Right now, we have no creatures that are connected to a sewer entrance, so there's no need to check for snacks. If this creature were connected to sewer entrances 1 and 3, I would be able to check 1 and 3 to see if they met the qualifications to snack on a pedestrian. Now, the qualifications to snack on a pedestrian are any of the 4 symbols that are touching that pedestrian. So, for example, this pedestrian here at number 3 requires a tooth, a tentacle, and nothing else. Just a tooth and a tentacle. As long as the creature that is connected to sewer entrance number 3 has a tooth and a tentacle as part of their traits, then they can successfully snack on that individual. This individual, however, requires 2 tentacles, a tooth, and nothing else there. Keep in mind that the pedestrians at slot 1 and 5 are going to change a little bit because the card on both the draw pile and the discard pile do have an effect on what is required to snack on that pedestrian. So as you can see here, we have a baby monster, but the concept is still the same. You have 2 teeth, a tentacle, and an eye. Going to be very difficult to save that little baby monster, which we'll get to in just a second. Let's go ahead and move on to the next round. Now that everybody has checked to see if they could snack on pedestrians, we're going to move on to the next round. So we'll go ahead and flip the pedestrian that is in slot number 5, move all of these down, and introduce a new one to the lineup. Go ahead and rotate that if it is oriented incorrectly. And now we're going to repeat the process. We're going to roll the dice. I actually forgot to roll the location dice like I said I was going to, but we'll go ahead and observe what that does now. So we're going to roll all of the dice, and here are the results. Oftentimes it is helpful to arrange them in order of how you're going to add them. So generally, we'll fill in creature traits first. So this round, what we have to add to our creatures are 2 teeth and 1 of each type of pipe. So let's go ahead and add that in and see where that gets us. In order to use these location dice to add a rat snack, we're just going to follow. So E5 are the coordinates. We're going to go E5. And right here, we're going to draw a small dot in one of the corners. Now that represents a rat in the sewers. Now it's not ideal, but your creatures are able to pick up little rat snacks along the way, and we'll observe what that does a little bit later on in the game. Now that we've added in all of the symbols to our sheet, we're going to check for snacks again. Now, because we are not connected to any sewers as of yet, we will still not be able to snack on anybody. So we're going to skip this step for us. Maybe somebody got to a sewer entrance on this time and they would check for snacks, but we're going to go ahead and skip on to the next round. So now that I've drawn in all of the dice, we're going to go ahead and check for snacks again. I am in fact connected. This creature up here in the corner is connected to sewer entrance 3. So I can check at sewer entrance 3, he requires 3 tentacles, which is actually impossible with this creature. So unfortunately, I cannot snack on that pedestrian this time. However, coming up is somebody hopefully a slightly easier to snack on. So let's go ahead and move on to the next round and see if we can snack on someone. Oh no, we have gotten a trap. So when a trap is flipped from the top, you are going to place it on top of the space where it was activated, and everybody is simultaneously going to check whether or not one of their creatures got trapped. In this case, we do have a creature connected to sewer entrance 3, so we are going to get injured. This creature is going to lose one of their existing traits. So we're going to go ahead and cross off the tooth for this creature, and that trait will no longer be used for this creature again. So if any pedestrians require all 4 traits in order to snack, this creature is not going to be able to qualify for that. That is also going to affect our end game scoring. We place this down here. It has no further effects. However, it is placed down here to remind us that sewer entrance 3 is now a safe space. So if we can connect through to sewer entrance 3 now, we are safe snacking at sewer entrance 3 because they are not going to set the same trap twice. We're going to draw another pedestrian to replace the one that we just lost, and then we'll move on with the round as normal. Here's where I have an opportunity to potentially snack on an individual as they are walking by. So we're looking right here. We have 2 tentacles, and he already has a tooth, and he requires 2 tentacles and a tooth. So as long as I can connect through to sewer entrance number 3, which I can right here, we'll add in my other ones before I forget. Then I can add the 2 tentacles up here. The tentacles get hard for you to draw. I recommend just drawing 2 S's connected at the top. So now we're going to check for snacks, and I can see that at sewer entrance number 3, which both of these are connected to, this creature unfortunately cannot, but this creature can. So meets all of the requirements, and so we'll write a number 4 up here. And at the bottom, there are no consequences for snacking on this pedestrian. However, you can see on many of them, there are immediate consequences that happen. So in some cases, you can see there is a badge icon. If there is a badge icon on the pedestrian that you snack on, you are going to need to cross off one of your badge icons. It's also important to note that every time a trap comes out, which I forgot to do previously, you cross off a badge icon. So there are no consequences for snacking on this pedestrian, which is great. We don't apply any. It is important to note, though, that each creature can only snack 3 times throughout the day, and then they're full, they're satisfied. Once they have all 3 of their snacks, nothing else can happen to them. They're not affected by traps because they're not going to the surface. Nothing happens after that. You simply do not check for that creature anymore throughout the rest of the game. I'm going to go ahead and play out the rest of the game, fast forward this a little bit until we get to where we can demonstrate how the game is scored. Really quick, before we do the end of scoring, I want to go over a couple questions that may have arisen while you're playing. In the case of the rat snacks module, if there is a time when you already have a rat on, say, space F4, and you've rolled another F4, you'll simply add a second rat to one of the corners. If you fill up all 4 corners, then you will no longer add rats to that space, but it is possible to have up to 4 rats on a single space, and you just add one of those to each of the corners. Another item to note is that every time a trap card comes out, if there are multiple creatures connected to that sewer entrance, each creature that is connected to that sewer entrance when the trap comes out will receive the indicated damage. At some point in the game, it is also likely that you will have your creatures completely developed, meaning you have added all of their traits. At that point in the game, you may stop rolling these dice completely, as they will have no further effect and just roll the pipes and the rat snacks. Another thing to remember is that these pedestrians may be snacked upon by multiple players and by the same player as long as it's not multiple times in the same round. For example, the previous round, I snacked on this young gentleman as he was walking down the street with this creature. Now, in a subsequent round, which is the following one, I also qualify for this creature again, but at the next sewer entrance. A monster can follow a specific pedestrian and snack on them multiple times. So I will again write a number 5 right here, apply the consequences once again. It is also possible for both of these creatures to snack on the same individual as they are both connected to number 4. However, in this case, I am missing an eye on this creature, so he is unable to snack. One situation that may come up is that you may want to snack on 2 different pedestrians, but you only have space for 1 snack. So for example, in this case, this creature is both connected to sewer entrances 4 and 5 and meets the qualifications to snack on this scientist as well as this young gentleman. Unfortunately, he only has 1 space. You do not get to choose in this case. The creatures are not necessarily fully under your control, and they will snack in order. So you'll go down the line from 1 to 5, determining which ones you can snack on. So starting 1, 2, 3, cannot snack on any of those with this creature. However, 4, he can snack on. So even though I may prefer to snack on this one to avoid the damage, I do in fact snack on the scientist and receive both the shield penalty as well as damage to this creature. But the good news is that this creature is now fully fed, and I no longer have to worry about this creature being injured or anything else. The other caveat to snacking on pedestrians is if a creature can snack on a pedestrian, it must. In this case, this pedestrian will inflict 2 damage on the individual who snacks on them. That may not be advisable. However, if you meet these requirements, you must snack on that pedestrian. On the street, you may also find some baby creatures who are in need of your saving. So for example, in this case, we have this little blob here. Looks a little bit like Jabba the Hutt. We have 2 eyes and 2 teeth are the requirement. Now down here, I do have a creature that is connected to sewer entrance 2 that has 2 eyes and 2 teeth. Now what I get to do is I get to take one of these little matching chits and I get to place it next to this creature for the rest of the game. Now there are some benefits that can be seen on this additional scoring card or this reference card. Down here at the bottom, you divide one of your skull icons in half, and this creature may now snack on 1 additional pedestrian. So now I can divide this one in half, and this creature can now snack 4 times throughout the day, once to feed its little baby monster. Keep in mind, however, that once you have a baby monster of a specific chit, you can no longer get that baby monster at any of your other creatures because it has been rescued and pulled off of the streets for you. Other players may still acquire them. You also cannot save more than 1 baby monster with the same creature. Let's go ahead and really quick look at end of game scoring. The game has ended because I have filled in all 9 of my badge icons at the bottom of the sheet. So now it's time to score. We'll score each of our monsters, and then we'll also score the rat snacks if we are playing with the rat snack module. The way you score each creature is to first look at the number of snacks that they had. In this case, it was 3. Then you look at the number of appendages that are still on your creature. In this case, it is 2. And then you're also going to add the complete value of all of the snacks that you have, which in this case is 18. So this creature scored 3 times 2, which is going to be 6, plus the 18, which is going to be 24, if I'm not doing that math incorrectly. So, and this is creature number A, so A is going to come down here and get 24 points. Now this creature had all 3 snacks. All 3 snacks, had 3 appendages left, and received 14 points for the total of, 20 for creature number 2. And then the way we total up the rat snacks is any rat that's on the board that can be gotten to by any creature is going to be a point. So, for example, here's one that was not acquired by any creature because it is not connected with a pipe. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that'll be 5 extra points for our rat snacks. And then, pardon me while I total all of this up. This space we will also have to subtract for any of our badge penalties. So these are not cumulative. This is you read the amount that you get. So we would get -6 because of our full badge track. So I believe that's going to be 75 points total, if I've done the math right, but I'm also doing it in my head as fast as I can. So 75 would be our end score. If you are playing a solitaire game, you are welcome to look in the back of the rule book to see how you did. 75 would be a good game. Very average, not near perfect, and not in the abysmal range. I have scored in this range before. It was very sad. That is how to play Snack Time. If you have any questions, you are always free to reach out to us. Check the Board Game Geek forum, where we'll hopefully have any rule clarifications that come up. We hope you enjoy it, and we hope you have fun playing.